Welcome to another live stream. I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios. Let me know if the audio is sounding good. Some of you heard some of the secret sauce I had in tonight's music mix. Not really. I had my lav mic on the air. And so I'm glad that Marcus said there's some odd sniffles. So my nose was running. I'm not sure what's going on here, but we are live. It's been an interesting day, to say the least, interesting week. So we will talk a little bit about behind the scenes tonight. We have a special guest, sort of. We're going to look at the new 1/6 scale figure that I got in that will go on the studio. Many of you noticed on the shelf back here, I have kind of a nautical theme. I'm going to change up this corner this year, and so that'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to say hi to everybody in the chat. We'll let people jump on here. I see lots of you saying hi. Please let me know where you're from. I do want to do a poll. I just didn't have time to do it. I realized like 5 minutes ago that I stopped in the middle of doing my intro and my outro reel. I had my intro reel done on the disc for my HyperDeck. I had my outro reel completely done. I rendered it, went and did some things, and then I was sitting here running through my script in my head, which I always do. Is my microphone switched over for my ATEM? Do I have my intro still ready? So I'll hit this button, make sure it's ready to go. Then I'll hit the intro video button to make sure it's ready to go. And right before I hit the intro button, I looked down at my HyperDeck and I went, wait a minute, my disc is not even in there. And I realized that I had not rendered my outro reel. So I rendered it. I had about 30 seconds left once I put it in my HyperDeck before I went live. I tested the still image, the intro, and the outro reel in time to push the go on the air button about 30 seconds early so we could get rolling tonight on time. So pretty crazy start to tonight's live stream, but that's what's live is all about. And so if you don't mess up when you're on live, then you're really probably not risking enough in your live stream. So I'm just going to open up YouTube on my iPhone. It seems to refresh faster sometimes than my computer, so gives me one more access to the chat. So let me do that real quick and click into tonight's video. We are in. It looks good. Thank you, Hank. I will hit record. Though I've been noticing when I'm live that this stops recording, so you guys keep an eye on this tonight and let me know if it stops recording. I have plenty of disk space. I just did a recording on Saturday with Dominic, my grandson, for our other channel. If we ever launch our other channel, we have lots of footage that we have to edit still. That's the Bennett's Collectible channel, which will be all about things I put on my shelf, things we're collecting, 1/6 scale figures, some of the hobbies that I have going on. And then if you guys are interested in that, want to see more, then you can pop over there. But anytime I add a new 1/6 scale figure to my studio that it's going to go on my shelf all the time, I will definitely bring that on the air because that's part of my studio, and that has to do with this space that I go live in every week. I was planning on doing a studio tour video last week, but we had some hiccups in the whole Bennett estate. Many of you guys know that Shannon's mom passed away, or dad, 3 years ago. So we're settling the estate. We live side by side to their house. It is empty now, officially about 99.9% empty. That's what we've been doing. We were selling things on Marketplace so we could get a call at any moment and have to go over there and meet people. Good thing is it was just next door. But my wife and I both work from the house. She's a midwife. She does consults. She goes to people's homes, so she's away from the house. I have clients in the Tri-Cities that I go and meet with. So between the two of us, we've had to be very flexible. So a couple days I had planned on recording that studio tour video. Things came up that I didn't have any control over, so I had to pause that plan. So the goal is tomorrow I want to shoot the studio tour. I've been meditating on what I want to do differently in here. Because again, it's a space I'm in all the time, so I like to change it up. So I really do want to move things around on the shelves, and so I hope that you guys will tune in for that video when it gets online. Also tonight, if you have any ideas for videos that I could do here on my channel, I am doing that my studio tour video because it was recommended during a live stream about 6 weeks ago. I've done studio tours on my live, but someone suggested I should post a video on my channel, and I wholeheartedly agreed with that. I just haven't had time to do it. I just uploaded part 2 of my Extreme ISO Getting Started series. It is about 3 hours of training. So if you haven't checked out the part 1 and part 2 of my ATEM Mini Extreme ISO Getting Started video, it also applies to the regular Extreme, not the ISO, and the Extreme SDI ISO. So if you wanted to know more tricks and tips on how to do things in the Extremes, then check out that video here on the channel. It's doing really well, part 1 and 2. And I also have an ATEM Mini Pro Getting Started video, which is blown up on my channel. That's my top performing video. And again, that is a pretty big deep dive into the ATEM Minis. And there's even been some firmware updates that give you more features. And I have videos here in my live stream channel or playlist for that as well. Okay, so enough of me rambling here. Let me get my chat on the air here. Let's change this. And let's go like that. Okay, let's just say hi here. Grish was here earlier today. So was Hank in standby mode. They got the front seat. Marcus Sullivan says cameras. I have a Panasonic HPX 171, an HPX 500, a PX 27 or 270. I have a PTZ 4K camera for a Catholic church placed at the front where no camera person could go as they would stand out. So that's cool. So we'll be talking about that topic later this evening, not too long from now. We're going to talk about cameras for live streaming, and we're going to talk about some of the new cameras that are available out there, as well as some of the shows that are coming up. So I wanted to preempt a lot of the shows. I know right now there's a European show going on. John Barker was on the air, I forget his name, with the guy who designed PlayoutBee for the Raspberry Pi, which emulates a HyperDeck. They were on a live stream today talking about some new updates from Elgato, and I'm going to talk about that tonight as well. And we're going to talk about cameras for live streaming. So Grish caught that my mic was not muted, and obviously pointed out that he could hear me, which is great. Hi, DJ Ware from Dallas, Texas. It's great to have you. My family is from Dallas, not Dallas, but from a Texas area on my mother's side. So I've been down that area one time and flew through Dallas airport once, been to different parts of Texas where my family lived in the southern, I think southern western part of Texas. Grish said he could hear me. Marcus said he can hear some odd sniffles. That was hilarious as the intro reel was rolling. And I said mic was on. This will be an interesting stream from Marcus. I have to check back the stream again tomorrow as it's midnight. Well, good night, Marcus. Glad you showed up. Marcus and I have met, and so good to have Marcus on the live stream tonight. We did a Zoom together, and he's running the behind-the-scenes live stream recordings in his Catholic church, and what an incredible individual Marcus is. Just a sweet, genuine guy. Love to meet him face-to-face one day. I thought for a second that was something that I had hidden in the music. No, it was special sauce from me in the background. Good to have you here, Jurish. Good to have you here, Marcus, Grish, Good to have you here, Hank. Good to have you here, DJ Ware. And let's see who else. Make sure I said hi. Before we kick the bucket, hi, Keith. Yeah, it'd be cool for you guys all to put your name in your first chat so everybody else can know your name and I can address you by name as well. Good to have you here tonight. TVJ, are you live streaming tonight, Jay? Let us know in the chat. I got to be a part of last week's live stream, but not all of it. But Jay's got some good tech. And again, talk about taking a risk when you're live. I love Jay's live streams. Even though he's not streaming tonight, he says in the chat, I love his live streams because he's like me. He'll take, and actually he's a little bit crazier than me. He'll take even greater risks on his live streams, even if things don't install. And I really respect that and appreciate that. Good to have you here, Craig. So let's see. Reminder to record. Good to have you here, Doug. Forced Online. Hopefully, Doug, you'll enjoy seeing my new 1/6 scale figure, who was actually in my Skycam in the intro reel, but we'll bring that figure on the air here shortly. And we're also going to talk about live streaming cameras tonight. We're going to talk about the RODECaster video and chat just a little bit about that. I told you guys I'm debating if I'm going to add that or not. I'm leaning one way now, which I will let you guys know before the night's out. U-Step Productions, good evening from Texas. And Jonas, cool. And no stream tonight, Jay says. Well, again, guys, I am honored to have you with me live each Tuesday. Those of you that join me, if you are listening in the background and you haven't been able to chat or say hi, it's because I have subscribe-only chat enabled. What does that mean? That means that people can't just pop in, say something weird, and then pop out again. But if you want to chat with us, and I would love you to say hi in the chat, please hit the subscribe button, and in 1 minute, 60 seconds, you'll be able to chat with us. We would love to hear from you, where you're from. And then tonight, I really do. I want to ask a question from the live chat tonight. What would be a video that you guys would like to see me do? Like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be recording a studio tour. Still got some cleaning up to do. Been working on it today and yesterday in the studio before I do that tour. And so I have about another hour and a half of cleanup and organizing in here, and then I will be ready to do the tour. And it is Jonas. That's right. Jonas is the guy who is at, I forget what, let me see if I can find this real quick. John Barker has been moving around. He hasn't been live a lot in the last 6 months. But I'm going to try to find his channel here to record. And I'm not sure. I got the alert today if it was him on live or was it Jonas on live. And it looks like it was him and Jonas on live today. Let's see, live. Let me check his live playlist. Or was it 6 days ago? Anyway, they were live, I thought, today, and they were talking about something new that Elgato is coming out with that they're showing at the European show. And so we'll talk about that as well tonight. So I've said hi to everybody in the chat. Thanks for joining me. If anybody else joins me, I'll try to say hi when we have a moment to do that. I want to create a little layout here real quick in my HyperDeck. Not my HyperDeck, but in my ATEM. Let's go into Super Source here. And we're going to go ahead and fix one thing, and then I'll put it on the air. You guys can watch me do some of this. So Super Source is now on the air, and I have nothing showing up in box 2. So let's fix this here first. And I think I'll leave chat enabled as well. so we can pop a chat up here. So let me turn this off and bring this in to super source. Box 2 will be my desktop. So there you have my new 1/6 scale figure. Many of you guys know that that's Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean. That's one of the figures that I've added to my channel. I can make him spin right now because he's on my Foldio 360 turntable. I also can change the views. Let's see if we can get more of a zoomed out shot here. And then I'm going to rotate this around. And I have a little bit of light on him, a little bit of backlight on him, but I wanted you guys to see this holding down my turntable here. And then we'll show some close-ups of the base as it turns around. You guys can see some of that detail. There's this famous compass. There's the lantern, which actually lights up. I'll bring that on the air here in a little bit. That's the only light up feature with this character. There is the treasure chest that opens up and has coins in it. I wish they were real gold. I could spend them. There is the holder that holds him up, and close up of that part of him as he spins around. And so that is the 1/6 scale Dead Men Tell No Tales Disney licensed Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp obviously playing the character. And I don't know how realistic that looks to you guys, but it's pretty realistic from my end. Again, I can adjust to make it a little bit brighter, but that's the best looking skin tones that I could get tonight for tonight's live stream. So again, things that go on my shelves, things that are around me, in my opinion are, let's see, I'm just going to switch cameras so I can cut back here, are important in the studio and things on the shelf. So the plan is this nautical shelf. You can see the 1/6 scale figure right there above my thumb. It's on the table. I moved the lamp off. The lamp is actually sitting in the corner because I just wanted the shears on the window to be behind that Jack Sparrow. So he's going to go on the shelf, and I'm going to design a little black pearl background and some lights on one of these shelves. I haven't decided which one. Still going to have a nautical theme in the corner. I may even get rid of this tower that's there right now and make some changes. So if any of the rest of you guys do any figure collecting, please let me know in the chat. But like I said, I think that's a pretty cool rendition of Jack Sparrow. I can kind of pan down here so you guys can see the wheel and the detail in his hands. Go up and show you this hand. Quite incredible. And if you go for the more expensive version, you'll get the artisan. You'll get real dreadlocks all the way around his hair. He has some real hair in this one, but does not have all dreads with real hair. And I don't know if what kind of hair they use. These are made in the Orient and shipped over here by a company called Hot Toys, and they make, in my opinion, some of the coolest 1/6 scale figures. And so we'll center Johnny Depp there. So anyway, I'm using Insta360 Link camera to do those displays. I'm using a Foldio 360 turntable, and I have a light box so I can do high key spins for our channel that's going to be released here shortly. So if you guys have any thoughts or comments on Johnny Depp, then let me know in the chat. Do I have the wrong glasses on right now? Let me change glasses and see. Nope. Maybe I'm just needing a new prescription. We'll see. Like I said, guys, it has been a crazy day, but it's great to have you guys all live with me. So, okay. So let me put chat back on the air here. And Chio's in the house. So if you liked at least seeing that 1/6 scale figure that's going to go on the nautical shelf back there, at least give me a thumbs up. Let me know if it was a complete total waste of your time tonight. I sure hope it was not. But again, good to have you, Chio. I didn't see if that one up on the screen. So again, maybe just to bring some clarification, Jonas designed a app that you can put on Windows, I believe. I think it's Mac as well now. You can also put it on a Raspberry Pi, and you can cause a Raspberry Pi to emulate a HyperDeck. What does that mean? That means that it'll play videos, and you can use the automation features in the software control from Blackmagic. So you could automate your intro video and your outro video, and then you could load it directly through your network onto the SD card in the Raspberry Pi, or you could use a version of PlayoutBee that works on Windows. I've never tested that version. I only have version 1 of PlayoutBee. I believe so now. Jonas has released version 2. So, just so you guys can see who Jonas is, let me pause this video after the commercial plays here. Let's go. That is John Barker on the right and Jonas on the left, and they appear quite a bit on their channels. And so again, Jonas is over at a trade show right now in overseas and reporting in on some of the new cool features and things that are happening. So I took, let me close this. I took some still images. Let's see, how am I going to bring this on the air? Go into my folder here real quick. And tonight's folder. And let me drop a few of these in. Bring this over here to make it go faster. Okay, let's go back to me and my laptop. And then I'm just going to change real quick. Let me open software control back up here. Somehow I closed it. bring it over here. Let's change what's in box 2 real quick to media player 1. And let me bring this super source back on the air. So if you see in that Stream Deck XL there's a little device tucked inside of it, and barely can see that. I apologize, but that is this device right here. So Blackmagic, or excuse me, Elgato is coming out with a little device that you can hook up to your network, and then you can also plug a USB-C into it, and then you can plug the USB-C cable on the other side or vice versa. I don't know which one. Jonas today, when he was talking about it on that live stream, didn't know which one, but one of those sides will plug into your Stream Deck, and now you'll be able to access your Stream Deck through your network. It also can be powered over Ethernet, because that is going to provide power. So in reality, you'll have to have PoE on your switch or your router, whichever it is. But now they are going to make these, all the Stream Decks, this will fit inside supposedly of the back of the Stream Decks. And so now you can take your Stream Deck, instead of having it powered over USB-C or putting it on a Raspberry Pi because it's always timing out power-wise, you can now just leave it plugged into your computer and use it that way. You can use it, access it over the network, and you can power it now over Ethernet. So I thought this was a pretty cool new feature coming out. And so I snapped some shots from Jonas's and John Barker's video today. So I'm going to put a link to that video in the description. I meant to do that before we even started tonight. So let me see if I can figure out what video that is. And I will get it posted in tonight's live stream. I'm just trying to find out, where is that video from today? Get lives, the latest. That was 6 days ago. You look at my feed here again, and it could have been 6 days ago, but I think it was today, live. Just looking through my alerts on YouTube. So I will find that and add that to the chat. Also, I wanted to say that I heard today that Wavelink version 2 has been released. And if you don't know what Wavelink is, that's was released to use with some of the specific microphones that Elgato makes, USB microphones, but now they make a Stream Deck Plus interface as well. So you could have a Stream Deck Plus with a interface for an XLR in the back. And if you have that plugged in, so if you have a microphone, like you could have an SM7B plugged into that, then the new Wavelink 2 has a artificial intelligent noise reduction plug-in that will work with all of their microphones as well as their interfaces, that you plug things into their interfaces, then it'll work there as well. And it's supposed to be, based on what I heard today, it's supposed to be one of the best AI noise reductions there is available. So it doesn't just eliminate noise when you're talking, so it can't be heard, or no, when you stop talking, like a gate does. It works when you're talking and when you're not talking, and it sounds the most realistic. Doesn't create any kind of weird artifacts to your voice. And so Elgato has purchased this software, added it to Wavelink version 2, which I believe is free when you buy any kind of Elgato device. You can download it. And it is a very intelligent Mac and Windows software that you can use in your studio. I think I have Elgato's website opened up here. So if you just scroll up, back down again, you can see right here, download Wavelink version 2 pops up. So I will put this link right here, copy it, and I will drop that in the chat. So it's in the chat, and I will also make sure that I get that in the video description tonight as well, but I will wait and do that later. So again, just some things as I was doing research today that I want to let you guys know. If anything else stirs up, I will talk about it next week. But again, as these shows start happening and people start telling us about new devices that they're going to have, you can't find anything on their website. A lot of the times when these things are being shown, they're demo versions. They haven't been released yet. They're not ready for prime time, but they want to see what kind of feedback they get at the show. So, but Wavelength is version 2 is available for your download. So there it is. So take advantage of that if you would like. And again, I can't wait to test this device that Elgato's coming out with so I can network my 2 Stream Decks. I have the Stream Deck Plus right here, and I even have a Adobe Premiere pack in here so I can use pages upon pages and the dials and the touch screen for Adobe Premiere Pro as I'm editing. I even have a scroll forward and back, scrub forward, scrub back dial, which is great. And then I also have the XL version. And again, the device just tucks in here. So you pop this off and you put that device in, and then you're going to plug it back in, going through the device. And then obviously the cat cable, that magnets together. The cat cable will come through here as well. And I use these for my lights. So I can change up my lights right now. I'm using the buttons. So here's the lights off. Here's the lights for this camera. Then I have both settings for my other 2 cameras. That changes for that camera right there. This changes for the camera right here, and then back to this camera. So if I want to go on Zoom with any other cameras, I can just push a button and change my lights. So it'll be nice to have that powered over Ethernet. I'm getting ready to purchase 2 more switches, maybe 3 Unify switches. Again, I don't talk a lot about that. If you want to know more about those kind of things, go over to Tony's channel from Quick Tech Solutions, and you can learn more about that. Okay, so let me pop chat back on the air here. Dean Home 1, how are you tonight? I'm doing great. PlayoutBee is awesome. I use it on the Raspberry Pi. That's good to know. Do you do anyone who can, or do I know anyone who can repair an ATEM Mini Extreme ISO output port? I don't personally know anybody could repair that. Probably would have to go back to Blackmagic Design. I believe they have a repair facility in the United States. So I would reach out to Blackmagic and see where you could send that in for repair. It's a bummer when those things stop working. I occasionally have some issues with the ATEM I'm streaming from. And my version 2, my Stream Deck number 2 occasionally freezes up. So it could be a firmware issue. It could be because some people are leaving them on. I don't leave them on. So, but I seem to be able to get through my live streams without it locking up. Even my RODECaster Pro 2 has been locking up because I leave it on long periods of time. I have to pull the power cord, plug it back in. So I've already sent it back for repair once. So again, who knows why things don't work all the time. So Chio says he's installed Wavelink 2 and he's trying it out. That's really cool. So good. You guys check that out. You let me know as we progress what that looks like and if it's working for you. Okay, so let's do this. Haven't done this in a while, but we're going to do this tonight. Let's see, what do I want to do here? Go here. I want to go to super source. Again, change what's in box 2 to, let me turn this off. I'll turn chat off the air here. Let me go like this. And then I'm going to drop this into, thought I'm going to. You know, when you talk about ATEM control software never freezing up on you, and then I just had a glitch. That was quite interesting. Okay, so this should be ready to go. Let's quit thinking around here and let's get into this topic. So this is tonight's still image. I wanted to talk about cameras for live streaming and chat a little bit about this. And the reason for it is I have lots of people that reach out to me to ask me questions. I have a lot of local friends that watch my channel. They may not chat. They watch it delayed. And they're always asking me questions like, what camera do you use for live streaming? And I always tell them, and I've been live streaming or doing videos live for many years now. I did it for a company before I did it for myself. So I was live probably every couple days during the spring and summer and fall for a local RV dealership company here in the Northwest. They actually expanded to Pennsylvania, down into California, and now that company's been sold. It's currently called Blue Compass, and they already had like 65 locations in the United States when they purchased Blue Dog RV, who I work for. And I still have friends that work for Blue Compass, good company. If you're looking for an RV and you're in the Northwest, reach out to me via my personal channel, and I'll be happy to give you a name of someone to call, and you can save a ton of money. But in reality, I don't work for them anymore. I don't consult for them anymore. But obviously, I like to support my long-term friends and help those of you here on the channel. So, and actually, Shannon and I are talking about getting an RV. So we'll talk more about that as that decision is made this spring. And that'll be after the house is sold, which we're going to try to get on the market here in the next couple of weeks. So, and I'm paying attention to the chat here. So we'll respond to some of these comments, Steen, here in a minute. Well, let's just go ahead and let me talk about this real quick. I would just buy a used one before I would pay $900 to have it repaired by Blackmagic Design, which means that they're assuming you're going to have to replace the whole board, which is the main guts in the ATEM Extreme. I don't think any of the components are swappable. I think everything is soldered together just like a motherboard would be, and I'm sure that's why they're quoting you $900, and you'd be better just to buy a used one. Yes, I do use mix effects from Adam Tao, and I have Shannon's new iPad. Shannon's mom purchased just a few weeks before she passed, so Shannon inherited it. Right now, it's still under my mother's account. She's got Apple Care and all that on there. So I downloaded the demo version of Mix Effects today. But I noticed that most of the features are not available in the version that I downloaded. So I do want to talk about a couple new features in Mix Effects in the weeks to come. But because I need to work with Shannon to get this transferred over to our account, I wasn't going to pay another $50 for another copy of Mix Effects when all I have to do is add it to my account, and then I can use that here in the studio. I'm mainly going to use it when I'm going to show and demo Mix Effects, or when Shannon and I are on the road together. I have an iPad in here of my own. It's an older, smaller version, but yeah, I absolutely do use MixFX. Voice on, it's good to have you. I want to buy a HyperDeck shuttle to play video. I have an HD8 Studio Switrcher, and I would like to know if it would be compatible with the Switrcher since I have to convert HDMI to SDI. Yeah, so the shuttle is HDMI only, and so keep that in mind. So you're going to have to convert it as well, but it should be completely compatible. It's only going to play videos or record videos. So it has an HDMI in and HDMI out. If you want to do like animated graphics, then you're going to want to buy a HyperDeck HD Plus, not just a HyperDeck HD, because it is not set up with key and fill. So either is the shuttle. Shuttle's just good for playing video back, and it will be compatible once you convert it from HDMI to SDI and run it into the back of your HD8. Should work perfectly fine. Then what you're going to do is you're going to use, if you're just going to play videos, you can switch to whatever input you plug it in. So let's say you plug it into input number 4. Anytime you switch to input number 4, you're going to be on that shuttle once you convert the HDMI to SDI and plug it in. But if you want to play it in a key, then you're going to have to go inside your keys, like the DVE, most likely, and then you're going to have to select that particular input to play videos through your DVE. But you can even use it in a super source background if you have a device that will play super source, which we'll talk about that before we get done. Okay, so chat off the air. Let's get back to tonight's topic. Let me take a sip of this. So left to right here in the still image, you can see I have a Logitech 920 camera. Many people were buying those as fast as they could find them during COVID. Everybody knows that that was probably the #1 used camera for people to go on Zoom, to do school from home. If they did not have, and you can see a picture here on the bottom right, a laptop with a HD camera on it. And again, the laptops were a challenge because most of the cameras on laptops were 720p, which is in reality not high def at all. So even though that would be considered 720p, sort of high def, but it's not. The TVs that I grew up with were like 480 dots, and then 720p is a little bit more than that, but HD is 1920 by 1080. And so now laptops are starting to come out with HD cameras, 1080p, and that's what you're seeing right now. This whole frame that you're seeing on the screen, or let's just say this whole frame, is 1080p, 29.97 frames per second. I think that's the right math. Anyway, that's how many frames you're seeing per second, and this is 1080p. That's all my ATEM Extreme will do. Blackmagic Design does sell devices now that you can do 4K. So this camera will do 4K, and my camera right here, camera 1 will do 4K. So 2 of my cameras now, I can do 4K, and if you know me, you know I'm moving that direction. So my monitors are 4K, my laptop's 4K. This monitor is not, so it would have to be replaced. This is a 1080p desktop monitor that I have mounted on a swing out arm. That TV up there is 4K. So 2 of my cameras are Canon EOS Rs, and they're ready to do 4K. You have to have a pretty wide lens because these 2 cameras crop 4K. So I could not pull it off if I didn't have a lens that was at least 16 mils. So I only have one 16 to 35. I need to buy another 16 to 35 in the next year or so, and then another EOS R camera and another 16 to 35, and then I'll be able to go 4K. I say that to say that if you have a 4K streaming device, then you're going to have to get a HyperDeck that does 4K, so you can play it back. Or you can play it back in your DVE very small, and it's going to look like it's high def, even 4K, because a 1080p frame in the bottom corner only taking up a quarter of the screen is going to look at the same resolution as everything else, because that's what it is. 4K is basically 1080p, 1920 by 1080 4 times on the screen. So, and I want to change to 4K before everything gets to 8K. And again, ATEM Extreme ISO, the ATEM Minis do not do 4K. So I am waiting for Blackmagic Design to figure out if they're going to come out with a smaller desktop device that will do 4K. But so far, they have it for rack mount, but they do not have it for desktop. So we'll see. I could buy the new Bluetooth interface and have it to control a rack-mounted HD Constellation HD 1ME or 2ME, and I'd probably go with a 2ME if I did that. But again, then you got to buy a web presenter 4K. You got to buy the 4K version, which I would definitely buy the 2ME 4K version if I was going to upgrade in my studio. I'm not going to go backwards with 1080p. I'm going to go forwards with 4K. So those are things that I'm thinking about here in the studio. But again, I said that. Oh, I messed this up. Let me fix it. Quit pushing your macros, Keith. You're messing up what you're trying to do here tonight. Okay, back to super source. I'm so used to pushing my macros, everything switches back what's in that box. So again, so webcams were purchased like crazy. The Logitech cameras purchased like crazy. I had a camcorder like you see on the bottom left next to the RODECaster Pro Video in this image. And so with that said, that device had an HDMI out and it was 720p. It was a HMC 150 Panasonic. And again, that would be great for doing 720p. And the first videos that I was producing, the first videos I was editing, the first videos I got paid to do for video production was on that 720p camera. Again, I sold it to a friend of mine years ago, but you can use prosumer video cameras. They're really nice because they usually, the nicer ones have XLR inputs. You usually have two, so you could have a two-person interview plug in directly into the unit, or you could do a right and left stereo from a board, and you could use it for production. They've been using those type cameras in churches for years because they have the monitor built in. They have some features. They're pretty usable. They have zoom lenses on them. So DSLRs became really popular when the Canon 5D Mark II came out. There was a couple Sony cameras that came out as well. And people went crazy starting to produce video on DSLR cameras. So you can see on the top, lots of different cameras. In fact, I purchased this for work because it was just going to make it easier for me to shoot B-roll. So I went out and bought version 1. Let's see if this still has battery. I will turn it on. Yep. This is the DJI Mobeile that I purchased. See if I can get that closer in for you guys to see it a little bit better. But I bought this. It does not have an HDMI out. They did eventually give you the ability to stream from the app. So I bought the DJI Mobeile. Again, this is version 2. The version 3 is amazing. I would really highly recommend it. I haven't purchased it, but I want one. So I had this to shoot B-roll. And I even did one of the earliest videos in my studio on the action camera. Let me grab it here real quick. And it's a DJI camera. And I even had it in a high-tech case for doing action work. So let me change camera angles here real quick without the logo on there. But I have this whole case filled with stuff. So I can use extra batteries, use my action camera. And this is version 1 of the DJI action camera. I bought this case for it. It'll just come right out. Took the door off where the SD card and the release is, but it'll pull right out of this case. So that's the original DJI action camera. Again, I did stream from it to demo that the new DJI software think it was called DJI Go, would let you stream from it. I also did some live streams from a drone, a DJI drone, back in, I think it was, oops, that dropped. Put that back on the desk. But I wanted to put regular filters on, so I bought this case so I had the ability to put screw-in variable ND filters on this. Let me pick up what just fell here. So a person could stream from an action camera. This is not pictured on my still image. I changed it out for, or did I? Yeah, I changed it out for the new GoPro 13 Black, I believe it is. And there's cameras like that. The challenge I wanted to say with these is they're super wide. These action cameras are actually super wide, and so that's great if you're doing like shots out in wanting those wide shots, like action shots on motorcycles or skateboards or hang gliding or any kind of sports, having that camera on your head. And I have lots of attachments here to mount it on different things. And so not my first rodeo with action type cameras or mobile cameras like this. I even have filters for my camera. So I have ND filters, polarizing filters, all again right here in this case. And so you can see I've got lots of filters here. So if I'm shooting outside and I need to control the light, I have the ability to do that. Inside this case are filters that are four stops. I have polarizing and ND filters. I have just ND filters. In fact, this one right here is a 32, ND 32. This is an ND 64. And I also, in one of my cases somewhere, even have lower filters so I can make that water look milky and really cool. So I've done a lot of B-roll with these. I've even put this kind of video from this device on my live streams many times because this is just a great thing. I grab this little case. I have the little controller that'll plug into it to let me pan up and pan down. I even have a GoPro type mount that can go on this. So I can hook this on there and then use this mounting point right here for my GoPro type attachments. Now, I have never owned a GoPro. I kind of went the DJI route for whatever reason, positive or negative. That's the direction I went. And then I even have this base. This lets me power it and stand it on here. And then I have this that comes on this like that. So now this can be screwed into a tripod and this can be powered at the same time. So again, these mobile gimbals could be used. The nice thing about this is this can be set to follow my face. So I've used that when I've done live streams for the company before, or recordings. So if you don't got to go live and you just want to record something, then it was a great solution. And the mobile camera that I have, the DJI Mobile 1, was not as wide as the action camera. So again, if you don't want a wide lens and you want more of a narrow like I'm using right now to create this kind of look this far away from the camera, then you got to be careful because that's really hard to do with an action camera. So I own a Logitech 920. It's in a drawer somewhere. I didn't find it for tonight. I own a lot of the cameras on this screen here. Some of them I don't, but I've owned the camcorder. I've owned the Logitech camera. I have the Insta360 Lynx So if we go back over here, I got so much stuff on my desk now. Let me clean up. So that camera that's on Jack Sparrow right there is the Insta360 Link. That's the tiny camera. Third from the left up there on the top row. Again, I do not own the GoPro 13, but I was really impressed with some of the features on it. And you can work with GoPro devices and get an HDMI out. So you could use that as a live streaming camera. You could use this through the app from your phone. So you would be streaming from your phone if you wanted to use the DJI. I believe you can also stream from the GoPros from a phone. And then I also wanted to talk about an iPhone. An iPhone now, or a smartphone in general, is a great streaming device. I mean, these cameras, if you have decent light, like I have right now in the studio, these make the ability to, you know, to really go the whole spectrum, super wide, super close up. You have all these different cameras. They're not seamless when you're using an app to come all the way out and all the way in. They do skip a little bit as they change lenses. And the reason you see the skip, as you can see, let me go back. You can see that, oh, that's Johnny Depp. We don't need that. We need this. You can see that they're not exactly placed in the same place. So when you're using an app to slowly pan in, or not pan in, but zoom in and zoom out, the skip that you see is when you skip from that lens to that lens, or from that lens to that lens, or that lens to this lens. You're always going to see that little jerk because it's changing locations. And so the screen, when you're watching that app, and I can actually demo this real quick. So again, if you're recording video, it's an issue, or if you're live streaming, it's an issue. So what you can do is you can just push your finger down, and then you can pan or zoom in and out. Let me get my hand out of the way. Let's see if we can put it back here on Jack Sparrow. Can we get it on? There he is. Jack Sparrow right there. And so as I zoom out, way out, see if we can get it to jerk, and way and to skip. There's a few skips in there, but you can see what you can do with an iPhone. It's a pretty incredible device. And now you have Blackmagic Design has a camera app, and you have lots of camera apps that are available, and you can stream from an iPhone. So what kind of camera do you use? I mean, how do you decide what's the best camera for you? Should you use your laptop, which is right there? Should you buy a camcorder? Should you buy a DSLR or a point and shoot camera like the one on the top right? Should you use a smartphone like right there? Should you go over there and get a DSLR like I have? Should you use a mobile camera, an action camera? Should you buy a Blackmagic Design cinema camera? Or should you buy a Red or some of the higher end Blackmagic cameras? I really believe to answer that question, I only really need to say one thing. And it sounds like a cop-out, but it's so true. How are you going to use it? Seriously. If you want to go out and be mobile, right, and you want something that has facial track, then buy a camera that does that. If you want to take your laptop with you, you could use an Insta360. You could use other cameras that plug directly into your laptop. But again, you're going to be outside shooting live. You could use an Insta360 camera. You could stream directly from your laptop. You could use your mobile device and use the DJI app or some of the other apps that are available for GoPros. If you're going to be in a studio, how many cameras do you need to purchase? And are they going to be stationary? Like if you're going to use Blackmagic cameras with Blackmagic devices, you can control them through the software control. So you could go into the software control. Let me bring it over here. With 3 Blackmagic cameras, you're going to have to put some LUTs in those cameras because those cameras feed raw video. So you're going to actually have to add a LUT, which is a lookup table, to design the look. All it's going to do is color the video. That's going to be very flat. And then you can go down into the settings. Sorry. Right here, and control your Blackmagic cameras. I can't control my cameras, but here I could control 8 cameras in a studio. I could change the color. I could do all kinds of things with those cameras if I owned those Blackmagic cameras. So that's one of the things you have to decide. Are you going to be in a studio? Are you going to be outdoors? Are you going to be mobile? Then maybe a mobile phone is the best way to go because you already have access to the internet, but you're going to have really good cell service, or you're going to have to go travel around with like a mobile device that has maybe 3 networks in it, a bonding device, which will let you bring in T-Mobile, Verizon, and different web providers so that you always have good internet depending on where you are in the city. So if your phone has the ability to stream 1080p, then it's a great device. If you don't want to stream directly from the cameras right here on your device, then you could use a GoPro, you could use a DJI mic, you could even use your DJI drone to stream. And even Logitech makes better cameras than they used to have available. So let's cut back to me and a logo, and I'll fix that layout again because I want to continue going through those streams. But let's catch up right now on the chat. Still recording. That's good to know. Let's put chat live again here. And let me just look in the chat here to see what you guys are saying. DJ Ware says, I'm waiting for a small 4K device from Blackmagic Design as well. Yeah, a desktop device. I totally agree. Since all my Blackmagic devices are 1080p, I'm not going to go 4K at the moment. I totally understand. I think because I'm doing training, I'm going to want to be able to do 4K and 1080p for my studio in the next year or so if I continue doing the model of type business I'm doing. Glenn says you should work video for rodeos. They're everywhere. The people are mostly great and lots of action to cover. Cowboys love it. Yeah. And again, there's lots of business available and clients available for people who do mobile live streams. Weddings are always needing live streams available. You could sign up with a couple wedding venues so they refer you to their clients. So when people come and look at the wedding venue, you could even be in their wedding package. So your prices could already be disclosed when they go to a wedding venue. Rodeos, obviously they're all over, especially in the West where I live. And so, yeah, you could do rodeos. You could work directly to do live streaming at a hockey stadium. Many of the hockey stadiums in a lot of the towns around the United States have no ability to stream. Parents want to see their kids. They'll even pay a subscription to be able to watch that video. So you could do a setup and go in and make an agreement with some of the hockey stadiums, ice rinks, rodeo rinks, all kinds of things out there. I totally agree with that. So I think Glenn's was on the air. Red Carpet Media, good to have you. Love the show. I appreciate the info you provide. Well, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you as well. The end production or distribution methods should dictate the equipment you use. Yeah, so let's talk about that real quick. And I agree with you, Jay. The end use, how are you going to use it? So if you got to be mobile and in the studio, I can unplug my DSLR cameras and take them for a photo shoot. I now have my extra camera right here. This Canon 5D Mark III is plenty a camera to take out and do a photo shoot. So I need some good lenses. So I have my 70 to 200. I have my 50 mil, my 85 mil, but my variable lenses are all hooked up right now. This is a 50 mil. less expensive lens. I have a prime, so it's just one focal length and one aperture. And then I have this 24 mil EOS R. I bought these two lenses with my new EOS R. So I have one of them on my Canon 5D Mark III. So now I have a camera to do some photography with. I'm still kind of short some lenses, but this is not being used to do in the studio. It times out, so I'll never use it again in the studio as a camera that's going to be on for an hour, because it'll only stay on for just under 30 minutes. And put that back. So totally agree with Jay. What is the end use? If your goal is for people to watch on their phones, then you don't need 4K. And that's totally true. So 4K is for like television sets, if people are watching on monitors that are 4K. But if they're watching on their phones, 4K does look better. I have tested it on an iPhone. But again, it's really overkill when you get to a screen this size. But when you get to larger screens, then yeah, 4K is going to become more readily available, as well as the TVs are. Now, one of the things I was going to say is I was at Costco last week, and I noticed that after Christmas, all the prices came down. So even though they had great deals on TVs, there are better deals now. Like, they sold a bunch of TVs, they made lots of money, and now the technology is growing. 8K is coming available. Those TVs are dropping in price like 4K did 5 years ago. And so more and more people are going to be watching on television sets. Now, most people probably do not watch me on a TV. In fact, if you're watching me right now and you're watching me on a television set, right? Put that in the chat. Keith, I'm watching you on a TV right now. Most of you aren't, but most of you are probably watching me on a laptop or a iPad or an iPhone or a Google phone. So let me know right now what you're watching this live stream on, and that'll let us know how important it's going to be for me to go 4K in the near future. You should do a live show, action and dust and rain. T-Mobile is now connected with Starlink. Well, that's good to know. Starlink is now available. That's Elon Musk's satellite information. So you could put a Starlink on your house now and get internet. I haven't yet. I'm still using my Unify system, and my buddy's sending me microwaved internet to my house. I have 100 up if I need it. I have an average of 50 up when I don't need it. So lots of ability to stream. And right now I'm only streaming up at 6. So I could go all the way up to higher resolution and stream at HyperDeck high if I wanted to. But why stress my internet when this picture is really good enough? And that's the other thing too. I can stream at 6 different resolutions from my ATEM. All of them have more color information or less color information in them, and they take more bandwidth to do that. But I'm also recording whatever I'm streaming at. So if I'm streaming at streaming high, which I'm streaming at right now, then that's what I'm recording. And I am recording this video right now. So if I want a better resolution on my disc I'm recording on, then I need to change the settings in my control software so that I'm streaming at a higher bit rate, which means that video is going to look crisper and more clear when I'm live. And I've had you guys notice it before. One night I was streaming at over 35 to 40 megabytes a second, and you guys were noticing that the video seemed more clear. So it wasn't 4K, it was just 1080p at a way higher resolution. So Voice on the Move Radio, good to have you. I'm watching you all the way from in South Africa. Well, it's great to have you from South Africa. I've learned a lot through your videos. Please keep up the good work. Well, thank you for coming on and chatting with us. I appreciate it. Sounds like you've been watching my videos. I'm watching you all the way Let's see, that got on there twice. Okay. So good to have you with us. Let us know your name in the chat as well. And what part of South Africa are you from? Jay says, phone while I moved around. Juris Design says 10K, 12K, and 16K is coming. Yes, it is. And I'm at 1080p. So my studio in reality is already obsolete. Gio says, watching on my desktop with my 4K monitors, but I've watched you on my 4K TV sometimes. So there you go. So Gio is going to be able to see the difference if I go 4K from 1080p. And he'll also drastically see the difference if I was streaming at a higher bit rate, which I will be if I start streaming at 4K. So one of the devices I probably will add in the next year is a Web Presenter 4K, because that means I could plug one of my 4K cameras in and stream from a remote location, and I can start testing how much bandwidth I'm going to need depending on what resolution I'm streaming at. I've never had a Web Presenter before, but those of you guys that don't know, Web Presenters are a great device by Blackmagic Design. Let me bring them up here real quick. Products. So here you go. You got the Blackmagic Design HD and 4K, 675. You can have a Web Presenter 4K. You get better monitoring of your signal. You can see the screen right here, shows you're on the air. You get lots of data right here, way more than you get on an ATEM. So I'm seriously considering getting the 4K version. It will also encode at H.265, which is a really good way of streaming. I actually think it's a more stable encoding, coding. So we'll see once I get one. And so you guys can go check this out. But yeah, the same options to stream from it, I believe, as you do from the control software. And if I bring up the control software here real quick, let me cut back to me and a logo. Let's change ATEMs. Let's go to my extreme number 2. Extreme number 2, output. So on the control software, I have primary and secondary available for YouTube, RTMP. I also have SRT beta available here. I've never tried it, but you can see all these other options: Facebook, Microsoft Teams, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, X, Restream.io, which is a great place to send your video and then send it to a number of locations from Restream.io. So all of these are already built in. So all you have to do is have a Restream.io account. So if I clicked on that, I put my key in here. It's going to let me choose all these different locations of where I'm streaming to, and iStream.io. I put my key in here, and then I choose what level of streaming I'm going to stream. So if I stream it low, it's going to be a lot less quality video than I'm giving you right now. Right now, I'm streaming it high on my other ATEM, but I can go to HyperDeck low, HyperDeck medium, and HyperDeck high, and that does really make a difference in the quality of the video. So let me go back to my ATEM number 1. Get a sip while that's popping up. You turn that off. Let's drop this back into Media Player 1. Let's cut back to Super Source, Box 2, and go back to Media Player 1. And let's cut to Super Source. So you have a lot of choices. I did not put Blackmagic Design cameras on here. Sony makes some great camcoders that have HDMI out. Blackmagic Design has their cameras, lots of cameras that you can control from your control software, which is great. I have controls on the front of my Extreme that will control cameras. You don't have that on the ATEM minis, but you do have a whole bank of buttons, 8 sets of buttons for input 1 through 8 on the front of the Extreme. Then you have new devices that work with the Constellations rack-mounted devices by Blackmagic Design. You have desktop devices now that actually will record HD video, have all the controls on board, including controlling cameras, hard drives built into them, networking capability with all the buttons from Blackmagic Design, and then those will control Blackmagic Design cameras. So again, you can use a Logitech camera if you want to. You can use your laptop camera if you want to. Remember, replacement's important. My cameras that are eye level, a lot of times when you have laptops, they're looking up your nose, which isn't that beautiful. So you may have to buy a stand for your laptop if you want to use it. But again, you already have internet on your laptop. You already have software there. You can stream right from your laptop camera using any kind of control software, which brings me to our next conversation, and that is the tools that are available for you to stream from. Never have I seen more new software developers so that you can stream from a PC or a Macintosh. Never have I seen more developers coming out with devices like the YOLO box. You have all the different YOLO boxes available. They have their portable screens with HDMI inputs, USB-C inputs for web cameras. You can stream from them. You can put in mobile SIM cards into them. There's now devices that are available for you to take mobile with you that you can bond different internet sites. Now we heard that Starlink and T-Mobile are together. So there is just limitless tools. But I wanted to talk about this tool here real quick. Let me bring it up here on the screen. The RODECaster video retails for $11.99. The more research I do on this device for mobile shooting using a webcam, it has to be an uncompressed webcam unless they've updated the firmware. I'll do a deeper dive into this before I purchase it. But I want to let you guys know I am leaning towards grabbing one of these. And the reason for that is I want to use it for all of my mobile shoots in conjunction with my PreSonus 32-channel console. I love that it has XLR inputs, and you can look at some of the key features. You can switch between up to 6 video sources, 7 fully customizable scenes. So I like the fact that you can make customizable scenes. You can change, like the RODECaster Pro that I already have in my studio, version 2. You can change clients with it. So you could have one client set up and you could load it in to the RODECaster Pro 2 and then do a podcast. And then later on, you could go to another client could come in or go to another client's location and you could load in their scene and have another set of presets available to you. You have 4 HD 1080 HDMI inputs. I'm really rarely ever using more than 3 in my studio in cameras, but I do want to bring in like a HyperDeck or a video playback device. That could be my laptop using PlayoutBee or another playback device. So I probably always have one of these devices and my laptop when I go to be remote. So I like that idea. So I'm really leaning towards devices like the RODECaster Pro Video. You also, again, have the YOLO boxes. They are great devices. Probably my favorite right now. Let me see if I can find their site. I'd say this is probably the most enticing one they have, but they have lots of different devices available now. This is the YOLO Box Ultra. It seems to have all the features that I would want, more similar to like the RODECaster video device. And so you guys can check this out as well. None of these devices are inexpensive. They all are going to be an investment, but you also have lots of software options. So let's just do this. You have my favorite, which is OBS. OBS is free to download. You got Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. I use OBS every week. That's how I display the chat in my lives, is I'm using OBS. That's how I brought Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow, my 1/6 scale figure that I showed you guys tonight. I brought him in using the display feature in OBS. So I have my Insta360, which is a webcam, coming into my PC. And then I can use OBS to display all this to you all. So OBS is free. I love free. You can obviously support them, and they give you the ability to support them and send them money as more and more people are developing it. OBS is really dialed more than it's ever been. I like some of the new features. Let's see what else I can find here real quickly. People seem to really like Streamlabs. Again, it's a software that you'll have to subscribe to or purchase. But again, if you're going to use a webcam or use something like Insta360 Link or the new version 2, that Insta360 Link 2 they came out with, that has 2 gimbals instead of 3, it does have a really good looking picture, and it's great for on top of a laptop to replace your laptop camera. Then that would come into your laptop, and then you'd use software to be able to run those cameras. So if you are going to use something like that that plugs into a laptop, then these are great softwares. OBS is a great software to integrate into your streams. Like I will use OBS on my laptop if I do get a RODECaster video. There are limits to a RODECaster video, so please do your own research before you purchase one. Just because I'm considered it, don't jump out and get it until you've done your due diligence. Let's go back. I'll catch up with the chat here in a minute. I want to do one more thing here. Again, we already talked about Restream.io. Here is their page. So you can go out and check out their products. You can stream directly to their site, and then so you can stream to them, and then they can send it out. It's not necessarily a software to kind of produce your live. It's software for you to get it out to multiple locations. If you've wondered how you can do that, there are devices like the YOLO Box and the RODECaster video that will stream to more than one location. That's an important thing as well. So again, software types change depending on what you're trying to do with them, but there are lots of choices out there. I'm just looking for a couple more here. StreamYards is another one. Again, you can check this out and check out StreamYards. It's another software. It gives you the ability to do some producing, also bring in guests. Again, I haven't used these softwares. Some of them I've done demos for, but these are great softwares. And the list just goes on and on and on. I've talked about this before. So there are tools like the YOLO Box, There's the new devices by other manufacturers that are being announced all the time. I've talked about some of those. Ostream, I believe. I think I just said that wrong and typed it in here wrong. So, for instance, and I'm not promoting B&H. It's a great place to do purchasing from. This is not sponsored by B&H. But when you type in switchers on B&H, obviously the Blackmagic designed ATEM comes up. The RODECaster video comes up. Then you have the mini ISO, the extreme ISO, the SDI extreme ISO. Then you have the HDMI for the smaller switchers. Then you get into the 2ME HD version, which is a rack mount ATEM. It does not have encoding or live streaming. That's what you'd use the web presenter for. So if you bought this one, you would buy a web presenter HD, and you would come out of one of the outputs into your web presenter, and that would be what you would stream out to the internet. If you buy the 4K version, then you would buy the 4K web presenter. But here is the Blackmagic design ATEM 1ME Constellation. And let's talk about this really quick. Remember last week I talked about the new multi-view or the new super source borders available in the constellations. I reached out to, let me go back to this view. I reached out to Blackmagic support, see if I can find that video. Actually, not a video, it is an email. Should have had this ready, I apologize. And we'll wrap it up here soon. Let's type in Constellation here. There it is, February 3rd. Okay, let me read this to you guys. I'm going to put it on the air. So I asked the question and sent this picture of what ATEMs it said the new 9.6.2 updated. And in the list, one of those, if I bring this up, is the ATEM 1ME Constellation HD. It says it adds super source borders. Well, we were of the understanding that the HD version of the Constellation did not even have super source. So I thought the best way for me to deal with this was to ask the question. And I said, so would you please verify what constellations have super source and have borders added? With the 9.6.2 update and firmware update, the support list under more info under 9.62 is confusing. I was under the understanding that the ATEM 1ME Constellation HD had no super source, even though I have a typo there. So it could not then have super source borders, or maybe I missed this. And he said this: hello, Keith. Thank you for contacting us. Apologize for the delayed response because I emailed him 4 days ago or 5 days ago. I can confirm that the ATEM Constellation switcher models HD 4K have now added super source with borders added with this version released. So this says the HD and the 4K all have borders, if I'm reading it right. Please advise if you have any additional questions. I almost feel like I need to ask him again to clarify it. But according to that, with that 9.6.2 update, the HD Constellation has super source and borders. I don't know. That came directly from Blackmagic design support. Maybe I didn't do the best job of asking the question, but as you guys can see, there are lots of tools out there. And in fact, it would be a 12-hour stream to cover lots of the software I could talk about, the different features, all the different types of cameras. But the bottom line is, and the still image with me not on camera tonight, the still image is asking the question is, what camera for live streaming? And again, the answer to that is, how are you going to use it? What are the tools that you already have? And I'm trying to help my clients and my friends and people. In fact, tomorrow night, I'm going over to do a RODECaster Pro 2 live stream or podcast. A friend is coming with Blackmagic design cameras, and he's going to go home and edit the video. I'm going to produce the audio at my friend's house in his new podcasting studio, a bedroom dedicated in his house. And again, I don't know how that's going to turn out. He says he has a couple decent lights that were donated to him. So we'll have to go Wednesday night at 6 o'clock and see what the lighting looks like, what the camera angles are going to be. I already know what equipment he purchased because I helped him pick it out. So he has the RODECaster Pro 2. He's got the right microphones for 4 people. I've already set them down and showed him how to use the RODECaster Pro 2, but I will be doing the executive producing tomorrow night for this and training at the same time. So what equipment do you have? What are you trying to integrate? Do you have a USB microphone plugged into your laptop? Maybe you should just use your laptop camera. Maybe if you don't have a USB microphone already plugged into your laptop, then maybe you should start putting together a list of what you would like to do. So what I would do and recommend, and I want to close with this tonight, is what I would do if I was you and what I do with all my clients. In fact, if you want to ask or request a free 1-hour consult with me, I do that for free, one per person on Zoom right here from my studio. And I can help you for free for 1 hour, maybe make some of these decisions, ask the right questions, get the answers on the table. But what I recommend is that you sit down and you write down, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you going to be in a studio? Are you going to have to be mobile in your house or your office? Are you going to have to be mobile in your car or your vehicle? Both office and in your car for the job that you're doing? Or can you set up a studio in your house like this? I started in the corner of my bedroom, and now I'm in one of our bedrooms in our house. It's dedicated to my studio. So again, write down what you're trying to accomplish. Then if you're going to do video, you need to have good lighting, good audio, decent cameras. So if you do want to use your laptop, make sure that you have good lighting. So I wanted to recommend my #1 recommended lighting. So let's do this right now. So my #1 recommendation to clients for lighting is this right here. For $139 right now from B&H, you can get the Elgato key light. This is over, I think, 23 Kelvin light, 2300 Kelvin brightness. So it's plenty bright. That's the light I have on me right now. I have another one over here. I have a key light air, the smaller light here to my right. And all of them are bright enough. In fact, if I turn these on, well, if I turn the key lights in full brightness, it's too much light on my eyes. So in fact, right now I'm pushing it. So it's a little harder when you have these lights where they're located, but they're nice, soft lights. If you can get them 3 or 4 feet away from you, they create wrapping light, right? Because light expands as it goes. There's nothing cropping it in to drive that light in a location, so it spills everywhere. So keep that in mind. It lights my desk. When I'm working in here, it lights my face. It's great for live streams. It's great for Zoom. And most people are using softboxes. But in reality, these lights can integrate with the Elgato Stream Deck, with the phone application. You plug them into your network, so your wireless network in your house. So if your phone is on the same network and your Stream Deck is on your network, then you'll be able to control them either way. And like I said, if you have 3 of those lights, you could have 3 cameras, and you could use each light a different way. Like when I'm using this becomes key. This light on my right becomes fill, and the one behind me goes pretty dark as a hair light. And then I have a key light mini above me. So I have 4 Elgato lights in this set that you see right here. So again, lighting is super important, because you can't have a good quality video if it's someone talking without good audio and good lighting and good video. So keep that in mind. You can use your laptop, you could use web cameras, you could use PTZ cameras if you want to, like Marcus shared earlier in his comment. So again, keep that in mind. Juris Design Gary says prototype 32K forgot to emote earlier to great to watch 4K video. Okay. Not sure I know what that meant. Chio says, yesterday I installed NDI plugin for my OBS on my PC and Mac. So now he has the ability to have NDI coming in from probably your phone, your iPad, and any other device that supports NDI. That's really cool. Congratulations, Chio. B&H is where I got all my Blackmagic devices. Yeah, B&H is a great company out of New York City. So if you're in the New York area, you can walk in that store. I always have wanted to go to that store, and I'm hoping to go there. I have a client that lives in New York and buys all her equipment from B&H. In fact, I'm hoping to have Jenna here on the live stream this spring. Her channel is growing incredibly. She already has. She just relaunched her channel about 4 months ago, and she has over 22,000 subscribers already. So I want to have her on the live stream here soon. Michael, good to have you. Can I use 2 HyperDecks at the same time? Yes, you can use 2 HyperDecks at the same time. The software has, I think you can use up to 4, but one of the updates they did with the control software gives you pages of HyperDecks. In fact, I think I can demo that here live. So let me change this real quick. So on the HyperDeck page in the control software, it only shows 1, 2, 3, 4 HyperDecks. But the difference is when you get into this page, under the settings where you set up your HyperDecks, see how many pages there are? 1, 2, 3. So 2 on that page, 4 on that page, 4 on that page. So if I do my math right, that's 4 plus 4 plus 2, that would be 8. I don't know if you can control 8 HyperDecks at the same time, but think about it. If you're going to use HyperDecks to be your ISO recorders, then you would want to be able to control 8 HyperDecks at the same time. So on an extreme, you'd have input 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So if you had a rack-mounted ATEM with 8 inputs, then you would want to have, and it doesn't record inside some of those rack-mounted devices by Blackmagic Design, then you would want to have 8 cameras going into 8 HyperDecks, and then those HyperDecks being able to be controlled from the control software. So I think this is why they did this. This is an update back, I think, right around 9.5. But so right here you have multiple pages, but over here on the right, it only shows 4 HyperDecks. Now you do have this little wheel up here. Let me close this. Save. Go up here and click on this little wheel. So 4 HyperDecks, 6 HyperDecks, 8 HyperDecks, 10 HyperDecks. So that's 4. So if I click on 6, now this is also something I've never talked about on the channel before. So you guys can play with this. If I click on 6, then it shows me 6 HyperDecks. If I click on 8, now I have 8. If I click right here, now I have 10. So it looks like you can control 10 HyperDecks now. So go figure, but you get to set how you want to lay it out. And again, that would mainly probably be for ISO recording. So every HyperDeck can be used as a recorder as well as a playback device. And some of the HyperDecks can be used to play keyed graphics, which is a 2-layer signal, takes 2 SDI outs and 2 inputs into your device. And then you can have a fill, which is the picture, and a key, which cuts out the background to give you crisper, animated flying graphics from a HyperDeck. So make sure if you want to do animated graphics with a key that you look at which HyperDeck you're buying, because not all HyperDecks are equal. The Shuttle does not have fill and key, and the new HyperDeck HD does not have fill and key. The HyperDeck HD Plus, like I have in my studio, does. The older HyperDeck minis have fill and key, and then the 4K does, and all the upper level HyperDecks all have fill and key after you get past the HyperDeck HD. So keep that in mind if you're going to buy a HyperDeck. Okay. Chat back on the air. Michael Pittman, Keith, can I use 2 HyperDecks? Yes. Speaking for playback, yes. I actually have a video here on my channel where I built a macro to cut from one HyperDeck to another HyperDeck to another HyperDeck. So I didn't play them all at the same time. But I know that you can use more than one HyperDeck as a super source input. So, well, let's demo it. Let's try it, shall we? Shall we just go crazy here tonight? Go. Okay, let's cut the super source. I'm in right now. Let's go to a 4-box. We're going to make one. Let's see. Do I have one right now? Yeah, one of the boxes. So we're going to use box 4 as a HyperDeck. So we'll make that my HyperDeck 1. And then box 4 is going to have to be this input right here. You hit stop. Okay, so now I need to go up to my other extreme. And I'm going to make output 1. Let's make it my mini fill. Okay, so let's play a video. What we got in here? Okay, let's play my stinger in that one. Go back again. Stinger in that one. And let's loop that one. And then output 4. What's going on with that's output 3. Oh, I don't want that. Loop that. Okay, so let me think about this. So I have that one's working. That's box 4. Let's go to box 3 and fix it. Enable it on the air. We want that to be, let's get into the right. Okay, output 1 is, yeah, okay. So let's go back to extreme number 1. Box 3 needs, so that's HyperDeck fill. Box 4 is extreme out number 1. What is going on here? Not receiving my output from... I'm trying to demo this. Let me take chat off the air here real quick. Not going off. Oh. Box number 3 is wrong. There we go. There we go. Okay, so 2 HyperDecks playing at the same time. And I can do 3. So let's try 3. I wish it was easy, but 2 of my HyperDecks are plugged into my second ATEM. Let me go back to it. My shuttle is plugged into output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So output 1 is playing that. Let's play shuttle. And then let's see if anything's going to play in that. Okay, let me go up here to, so that's input 2. Trying to get a video to play in my shuttle. I didn't have any videos on the disc, I don't think. There we go. Okay, here we go. We're going to switch what's in box 2. Switch to extremes here real quick. Box 2 is now going to be extreme 2. So there you go. I have 3 HyperDecks playing at the same time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this demo because it's really happening. So you got my subscribe logo playing out of my old HyperDeck Mini, or actually my old, my Stinger is playing below me from my old HyperDeck Mini. And then on the bottom right, that is my HyperDeck Shuttle HD. And the top right is my, not HyperDeck Shuttle, HyperDeck Mini HD Plus on the top right. Our bottom right, top right, excuse me, is my shuttle. So there you have it. I just demoed craziness. Now all of my inputs are screwed up. So let me go back and fix those connections real quick. And output 1 is always my camera. My 5D Mark III, and I'm going to change output to, what do I normally have that set at? Multi-view. Cool. So there you go. That's a sample of playing those HyperDecks at the same time. So hopefully that answers your questions. How can I trigger 2 playbacks at the same time? You would have to make a macro to do that. I was asking because sometimes I would like to have super source layout with motion background live video. Yeah, so you're going to need to create a macro to do that, or you're going to have to take the time that I just did. So you just set up a macro in super source. You make sure you have inputs coming from multiple devices, or the background can be a HyperDeck. So I can put my HyperDeck in the background right now in my super source. So let's loop this. And let me go into my super source right now. I'll go into my art background. I'm going to change this to but it's got to be in the right ATEM control software here. Let's go to the art background. I'm going to change this to my HyperDeck. So now I have my HyperDeck playing in the background. So if I wanted to do this quickly, I would just create a macro. I wouldn't use something that busy in the background, but something that's moving very, very slowly. It would look really cool, or maybe some sparkles or some subtle color changes, because right now that would drive me crazy. But I can put that in the background if I so desire, and I would just create a macro to do that. I have my media player too in my background, but I could put a HyperDeck in my background. I could put a HyperDeck in the foreground. It just depends. I have to have enough HyperDecks if I want to fill up all 4 boxes. So I only had enough HyperDecks to fill up 3 boxes, but I would use a macro. Okay, that catches me up in the chat. Let me go back to me and a logo, and let me wrap this up because it's almost been 2 hours. So it's almost 6 o'clock. So I need to go eat. I need to hang out with my wife. So I'm going to wrap this up by saying that there are many, many tools out there. There are many different types of cameras. There's nothing wrong with using a smartphone. There's nothing wrong with using a web camera. Just get one that has quality video. You could use a GoPro now. Just remember, it's super wide lenses. So you got to be concerned with how wide the lens is. The new GoPro 13 Black has the ability to put in different lenses on it. So I think it has one to narrow the shot, has one to widen the shot. So again, that's a unique addition to GoPros, is the ability to change the width of the video, the mil. So 16 mil is wide, 35 mil is semi-wide, 50 mil is not wide at all. So again, I have variable adjustable lenses on my camera, so I can change the shot, can make it a little bit wider, a little bit narrower. I can also turn some of these cameras on the table behind me when I want to. So webcams will work. Just buy something quality. Again, this is the Insta360 Link 2. It only has 2 gimbals. I bought this. I'm not using it right now. It just sits in here, but I will use this remotely. I have as a remote camera. Plug it into my laptop, put it on a pole, and I can use it to pan right and left. It also goes up and down. So as long as you're not looking for something that will flip or something to hang above your desk, this camera will work on a pole, or it will work really well on your laptop. And it has this bracket right here that you can use, attaching to it with a magnet. And you can put it on a gimbal, on a tripod, or on a stand. And then this will hook it on your laptop. So, or on the back of your monitor. So again, it's an okay camera. I prefer the original version. Even though it doesn't have quite as good a image as this one does, I like it because I can use it in any kind of position. Overhead, downside, it has 3 gimbals, and that makes a difference than the 2 gimbal version. So keep that in mind. But there are plenty of good webcams. You can use a point and shoot camera. The last thing I wanted to say about cameras is that some of them are like this one. Because this is an older camera, it times out after a little less than 30 minutes. The only way to get the picture to come back on is to flip it off and back on again. That's the only workaround. So I've retired this camera to a camera that never times out. So keep that in mind. Some of them don't have what they call a clean HDMI out. And what does that mean? That means that this mini HDMI out right here gives me clean HDMI out of this camera without anything on it, like focus rings, any of that other information. So make sure you get a camera. All of my cameras that I purchase will do a clean HDMI out, but not all of them will. Same with camcorders. So make sure you buy a camera that does clean HDMI out, that it doesn't time out, because a lot of the older cameras that you can buy on eBay and get discounted, they do time out. So make sure that you get something that's going to stay on. Remember, it's a webcam. You're going to have it plugged into a laptop or the new switchers like the YOLO box and the RODECaster Pro Video and some of the other OC devices that also will do webcam inputs. So, because again, if you don't have the webcam plugged into something that can see it, then they're worthless. So you may have a camera that has SDI out, you may have a camera that has HDMI out, or you may have a camera like an Insta360 Link or a Logitech that has a USB-C adapter to it that you have to plug into a Mac or a PC. So lots of software out there, lots of devices to plug them into. So once you get to more than one camera, you need to start looking at switchers that let you switch between cameras. So a great deal is an ATEM Mini Pro. You can buy one for under $300 now. It can stream. It has 4 inputs. It doesn't have any webcam inputs, but you can plug your laptop HDMI into it and your webcam into your laptop and use OBS. Now you can bring a webcam into your live stream. So again, I would recommend an ATEM Mini Pro. It will record the program. It will also encode and stream to the internet. All you have to do is plug it into your network and you can then stream. It's not wireless, so keep that in mind. You do have to plug it in with a cable into your switch or into your modem. So, okay. Great to have you, Akil, from Germany. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for being in the stream with me tonight. On behalf of myself, let's do this real quick. And Jack Sparrow, Hot Toys 1/6 scale figure. I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight and being a part of tonight's live stream. What a privilege to have you all on the air with me. What a privilege to have you chatting while we're on the air. Johnny Depp, get out of here, buddy. Changing what is live in OBS. And again, thanks back to you for joining me. Thank you guys for being appreciative. Please go to my channel and subscribe if you have not and you're watching tonight. I really appreciate you having us a chance to chat with the rest of us. I also want to let you guys know that within about 4 weeks, we're going to be having another town hall meeting. You can all join me on a Zoom call so we can chat together. It's not live. I don't record it, but I do invite anybody from my live stream to join me. You can give us a studio tour. You can give us an update on who you are. You can ask each other's questions in that Zoom town hall. That's coming up in about 4 or 5 weeks. So, and then the last thing I wanted to say is this, as we say goodnight, there is a chance that I may be remote in 2 weeks from another client's house. So we'll see if that happens. If that happens, then I will be live on Tuesday from another location. That trip has not been finalized, but once it is, I will let you guys know. Again, that will be 2 Tuesdays from tonight if it happens, or I will be right here in the studio. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being a part of the live stream here on the channel. And I look forward to seeing all of you guys again here on the channel. Share this. If you haven't hit the like button, it means a lot to me. If you like the video, it helps the algorithm. It gives me more views. So I really, really appreciate it if you guys will hit the like. I will be dropping some links in the description tonight. They're not there yet, but I will be. So pop back to check out some of those links to some of the products and things that we talked about tonight. And if you do purchase some of the Amazon associate links that supports the channel, because I get a little bit kickback from Amazon, but you pay exactly the same when you use those links. So I will be dropping some of those in the description as well. And if you haven't taken advantage of a free 1-hour consult, just click on the link in the description. Let me show you where you'll be going on my website. I'm going to put this link in the chat right now. Come on, Keith, where's your mouse? Click on that link and it'll take you to this page. Just fill out the form on the bottom. Give me a name and an email. I don't need a phone number unless you want to share it. And then in here under the notes, say I'd like a free 1-hour Zoom consult. I'd be happy to help you on that, maybe answer some of your questions. And then if you decided you needed more of my time, I can explain how my very inexpensive consulting program works with very little commitment, long-term or short-term financially from you. And I've helped many, many, many clients here from the studio in that consulting program. I'd be happy to share how that works. I have multiple programs to help people at whatever level you're at. Fast progress, slower progress, short-term. And I do even have some long-term clients now that I do work for every week. So again, I'm not looking for that, but I am looking to help people here on YouTube get going with podcasting, live streaming, studio setup and design, as well as even maybe how to use some of the software, how to get your podcast out there, how to get your live stream set up, even how to set up a YouTube channel. So let me know if you need information like that. You can take advantage of that 1 free hour again here from my website. And again, I put the link in the chat. I'll also drop the link tonight in the description of this video. Okay, so that's it. I am talked out. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios, and I hope to see you guys here very soon in another video or a live stream. Catch you later. Be safe.